And it's about a person that we've talked about in the past, but we typically don't indulge in the hate of this person. But this was too much for me to not talk about it. It was too much. It was too hard to deny. I saw a clip where members of the Golden Hour podcast, for those of you that don't know, that's Chris D'Elia, Eric Griffin, and Brendan Schaub, somewhat. They were talking about, I know like the episode previously to this, they talked about the Riyadh Comedy Festival, which we talked about in our last episode, and talked about the backlash over that festival. And they brought up Crack Amico's song on it, which, by the way, go look that up. It's great. Crack Amico, talking about the Riyadh Comedy Festival. If you don't know who that is, go look it up. But I believe this is the next episode where, the Crack Amico song references how Whitney Cummings and Chris D'Elia were once friends, and when Chris D'Elia got into his trouble, Whitney wasn't there to protect him. In fact, she threw him under the bus. So in this episode, in this clip that I saw, which just, I couldn't believe what I was seeing and hearing, not from Chris D'Elia, but from the other guy, you'll see. They mention it again, and they get into this whole conversation about Chris's troubles and the industry and people being friends, and I found it bizarre. So there's so much to uncover here and so much to talk about. But when it comes to Brendan Schaub, that's the enraging part. And he doesn't get it. The lack of self-awareness is astounding. And we'll get into that. So let's get into the clip. So this is sort of halfway through their conversation, and you're going to find that Brendan Schaub, of course, through interrupting and speaking out of turn and just not knowing when to talk on a podcast, has a lot to say about this, and he just doesn't get what he's saying. And I guess I should say this. We don't talk about him much. We've mentioned him previously, very little. It's been a while. But myself being a silent homeless cat, this was too much. It was too much for me not to speak on it. So let's get into it.
Just if you're a friend, be a friend. That's it. Just be loyal. These people, even the people that, like, when people, you see all this stuff happen in Hollywood, somebody goes through something, whether it's fucking accusations or whatever, and then everyone's like, well, I don't know. Yeah, you do. You know your friend. You know what they did. You know what they didn't do. Fuck you. Dude, don't be a fucking bitch about it. Don't be like, well, I wasn't in those rooms. Shut the fuck up, dude. You know what kind of person your friend is. You're lying. You're lying.
Agree, but also, Chris, I think to the point too, to help you out, like, you realize that they ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you thought you had a lot of friends. You did not have a lot of friends.
Yeah, no, I know.
Those people.
Yes, he did. He had plenty of friends. And this whole, like, your friends don't know what you're doing. Are we talking about everyday people or people in Hollywood? Because that's two different things. Because people in Hollywood don't have real friends. Now, I'm sure some of them, including Chris D'Elia, have real friends that maybe aren't in the business and have nothing to gain from being friends with him. But who are we talking about here? Because my real friends know when I do something wrong, and they call me on it. They won't make excuses, but the difference is they're my real friends. They've known me for a long time. And if I did something wrong, they wouldn't go, no, he's never been that way. They would go, hey, man, what the fuck you doing?
Not your friends.
No, I know. And that's
They're
why
not
comedians
your
to me are...
And it makes you more cold-hearted. So would I take the money? Fuck yeah.
This is from Unique Entertainment. Shout out to Unique for clipping this. I was too lazy to go watch this whole episode and find where this was. Unique, don't strike me, please. I appreciate it. Thanks. Don't strike us. I'm only doing the show by myself tonight, but anyway.
Fuck yeah.
I mean, I understand. And I just don't, it's just, entertainment, if you're an entertainer, be an entertainer. If you want to be an activist, be an activist. But don't be an activist under the guise of, you're making money of it. That's horseshit. It's like, dude, the BLM shit, right? Like, people are like, well, the leader of BLM was using money to buy houses. Okay, if that's true, fuck her. Obviously.
That's true.
Right. Okay?
That's true.
Right. I don't say... I'm just saying. I knew you were going to say that, Brendan. But it's like,
Of course
we'll talk about it. But
you read it once.
But it is, though. It really is. That whole thing was a scam.
It
was started by 3 white guys. But go ahead.
Understand, and I don't know anything about it, but I'm just saying, like, whatever the truth is about anything, if it's for money, and you're acting like you have this moral, I'm better than that. Then you're the worst kind of person. Yeah. I mean, dude.
So Unique seems to think that he's talking about Whitney Cummings here because they were once on a show together, and when Chris D'Elia got in trouble for what he got in trouble for, and I'm not going to talk about it, go look it up. It was a big thing back in, I don't know, 2019, right before the pandemic, whenever it was, start of the pandemic maybe. You know, there were many of his, air quotes, friends that threw him under the bus. They didn't come to his aid. They didn't back him up. They didn't say, no, I've never seen that kind of behavior out of him. They just said, ooh, he's gross, in a roundabout way. Now, again, these are entertainment friends. So are they your real friends? You know, if I got accused of the things that Chris D'Elia was accused of, my real friends would have been knocking on my door, asking me if it was true or not. And some of them, if I would have been like, well, there was this one situation, I would have had a punch to the gut, a knee to the nuts, maybe an uppercut to the chin. That's the kind of real friends that real people have, because they've known me a long time. And it's out of character from what they've been friends with for many, many years. So he's talking about a different thing here, but I understand what he's saying. And Brendan Schaub just makes it worse. He just makes it worse. They weren't your real friends. They ain't shit. Okay, what does that even mean? They ain't shit. What, are they cucks? Your favorite word right now?
I remember
but I look at that list, but Chris, I look at that list, I go, of course.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. It doesn't affect my life. I look at that list, of course they took the money.
I know, but people take them more. No, but you're talking about principle right now. That's what you're talking about.
Well, no, I'm talking about you're not really somebody. If, like, look, you know.
No, but people take this sort of like high horse moral high ground about certain things, and I can't stomach that sometimes.
Yeah.
I just especially when it comes from comedians.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, no, it's just comedians are
like the people that are like loud about this, like, hey, I'm not going to Saudi Arabia and all this kind of stuff. If you're rich, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Agreed.
You know what I mean?
Agreed.
Like you're like, what? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
So they're still talking about the Saudi Arabia thing. And I think the three of them, I don't know if there was an honest take on it. Maybe Eric Griffin's was the most honest, because he did say in the previous episode how he's been to Saudi Arabia. Now, he performed at a consulate, was on tour with some other comedians and went there. It was very much a private show. It wasn't a show like the Riyadh Festival was, but he did say, look, it's happened before, it's going to happen again. I, as a comedian who's been there, don't understand the backlash. That I get, but at the same time, you're kind of not looking at the bigger picture of what that festival represents and the hypocrisy and some of the people who did it. But anyway, back to this.
The dude that makes 500 grand a month is saying, well, you know, I don't want to hear from you.
Or some of them coming out never got offered. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay. So it's easy to come out because they stand for it, but they didn't even get offers.
Right.
Easiest take.
That's
to
all.
make.
It's just and this is like muddled because like I don't actually have any issue. I don't have any issue with it, and I think it's rich. I think we are so arrogant in the United States. You know, I love it. You know, like I've said this before, I'll say it again. What I love about the United States is we deal with our tragedies and we deal with our triumphs in the same way.
Brendan Schaub says, well, those people weren't your real friends. When you got in trouble, the people that didn't defend you weren't your real friends. Interesting. Because I think I remember that Brendan and his co-host Brian of The Fighter and the Kid were the first to not only not defend Chris D'Elia, but throw him under the bus. So was Brendan Schaub talking about himself? By the way, I found this in 3 seconds. This isn't something I had to dig for and go through an episode. They clipped this and posted it. So this dummy goes on a show with the guy who the accusations were against. Says, those weren't your real friends. As if somehow people forgot that he said the things that he said and that this clip exists. Oh, by the way, they clipped it and posted it. Check it out.
Brendan, we have to at least talk about this. You guys, if you follow the news, if you're alive, if you've been following this Twitter thing the way we have, you know what's going on with our friend Chris.
What's going on?
I'm not, in these situations, people in Hollywood tell you what to say. And
so this is right after the accusations. They are the first to go to the airwaves or the internet and talk about it. And again, I didn't have to look hard for this. This was clipped as part of their show. Back when their show was on a high.
And I said to Brennan, what we can do is tell the truth. And I'm not going to sit here. I'm a man, and I define myself on how I respond to these situations in real time when the pressure's really on. And so this is what I'll say. I always knew Chris is a ladies' man. I have never, and I'm going to say this, I have never seen or heard of him doing anything illegal, ever. This is as shocking to me as I'm watching this happen. I don't know what to think, and I don't know what to say. I don't. But I'm going to say it again. I have personally never heard or seen him do anything illegal. That's all I can say. And right now I have to believe that because he's still a friend. And it may be unpopular to say that, but I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to do. And I'm not going to be some, I just think it's an impossible situation. And I'm just at a loss. I'm at a loss. And I'm praying that what I'm hearing isn't true. Maybe that's the best way to put it.
I can't talk.
This dildo's crying. God.
It's like, it's a weird thing because I said to Brendan, I said, it's like, it's like watching someone die or something.
Is it?
And also, it's
Oh, you couldn't talk.
we haven't. What's important to say, we haven't spoken to Chris.
No.
And
why don't you?
We've never been on the road with him. I was on the road with him about 14 years ago once when he was just beginning. But I've never been on the road with him, so I don't know. I don't know what to think, and I don't know. And that's what's so frustrating.
I'm just sad.
Yeah.
I'm sad.
So anyway. Yeah. Sometimes that's the best thing to say, is to say, I don't know what to say. And I'm just, I don't know, man. Yeah. It's a fucked up thing.
I can't talk. Fuck.
Well, that's appropriate. That's appropriate right now. You can just pray that, that nothing's true.
Because no matter what the facts are, whatever comes out, I'm as shocked as anyone. I'm hurt. I'm mad. I'm fucking mad, man.
Why are you
I'm mad at him.
You ain't shit then. Go talk to him.
Okay.
A couple of simps. Again, those weren't your real friends. Those people ain't shit. I'm mad. I'm fucking mad. But we haven't talked to him. I've never been on the road with him. I barely know him. Which one is it? These guys, I swear, it's just ridiculous. I'll say this. I used to be aware of the fighter and the kid. And mainly because I was like a Joe Rogan podcast listener back in like 2015, 2016, maybe through 2017. I've said it on this podcast before. I enjoyed the Joe Rogan podcast mainly because I follow fighting and he would have fighters on and I would love to hear those stories, the fighters told of their journey. And it's very interesting to me. Choosing a career to go through fighting and not make great money and get the shit kicked out of you. And he would have these guys on and they would open up to him. And I thought it was great. I thought it was a really cool podcast to listen to back in those times. And during those times, he would have these two guys, Bryan Callen and Brendan Schaub, on. And I would hear the three of them discuss fighting and discuss life. And, I never thought anything about it. I didn't know much about Bryan Callen other than the few things that I had seen him in, Hangover, things like that. And I knew Brendan Schaub as a fighter. And that was that. I had no opinions on his fighting. I had no, he's a fighter. I thought I respected him as a fighter in the UFC. And I have respect for everyone who's competed in the UFC. And the turn happened where these guys had a show and it started taking off and the egos just exploded. And then Bryan Callen went through the same thing that Chris D'Elia went through. And Brendan didn't back him up either. Started doing the show without him because he wanted sponsor money. He didn't want to lose that money. And now that Bryan's back, just have a hatred for both of them. Not a hatred, but just a distaste. I don't think these guys are genuine people. Do I think they have real friends? Sure. We're never going to hear from those real friends because they're not on podcasts. They're not in entertainment. They're not on a mic. They're not in the spotlight talking about these situations. So all we're going to hear is the bullshit, the excuses, the half-assed, lame excuses that we get about situations that they may or may not have been a part of or may or may not have known about. And Brendan Schaub has become the worst of all of them. Like I said, silent homeless cat, but I won't be silent now. Dude, could this dude just have just been a podcaster? Is that when did I know what everyone's saying. Joe Rogan and somebody told him, you could be a stand-up, you can do this, you can do that. But like, you have a successful podcast. Just be the guy, the dumb meathead on a podcast with a guy who's in the industry that people kind of know about. That was a good formula. Bryan Callen was on TV. He was a stand-up. He was doing the road. Why break from that? But the more we've seen out of them all, it kind of makes sense because they're all just starving for attention and starving for the limelight and, you know, looking for the next opportunity to be the guy. And Bryan Callen is the most confusing one out of them all because as I've watched, like I said, from like 2014, 2015 to now, his act has never changed. It's, oh, you're a man. I'm so enamored by your manhood and your muscles and your body. Do you train? Do you do this? You're like a cheetah. You're like a jungle cat. All that bullshit. I saw a clip of his stand-up last week from the mothership, Joe Rogan's Club. He clipped this, by the way. Like no one's been paying attention for the last fucking 10 years. Crowd work. Ooh, you look like you train. You got a body on you. Again, talking to a guy. You look like you train. What do you do? Do you do some jiu-jitsu? Jiu-jitsu? No, he doesn't. Stop. Maybe he's just a guy who came to see you. I wish I could be the guy that just wraps somebody up. And this fake wannabe tough guy. It's like, and they always have this joke like, wouldn't it be funny if I was gay? No, it wouldn't be. That joke wasn't funny 10 years ago. It's not funny now. Stop it. Stop. Anyway, the hypocrisy in Brendan Schaub. Thanks, Unique. I'm on your side. So let's get into some new music. I want to get into a band that we have played on the show before, but as a throwback. They just released new music last Friday. Or maybe, no, this Friday. They released new music on Friday. So I want to play them, and I'm excited to do so because, in my opinion, the throwback I posted of them, I think I might have said this then, and I'm going to say it now. If I didn't say it then, I'm going to say it now. In my opinion, the best nu metal record of all time. Not the best nu metal band. Don't get crazy on me. It's not what I'm saying. But the best nu metal record. And what I mean by that is, by definition, what nu metal is, front to back, sound to sound, what nu metal is and what people define it as. I think this band has the best nu metal record of all time. The band is 40 Below Summer, and the best nu metal record, in my opinion, is called Invitation to the Dance. But they released new music. So let's get into that. This song is called Afterthought. I would have told the drummer not to wear that hat and shirt, but it's petty shit. It's gone. It's weathered over time, and I can't find the pattern, and all I see is a dark and empty sky. I'm reaching out, and I can't stop falling. You let me down. This is cool. I'm conflicted on this because, I know this band well and I like this band a lot, but I have to imagine people that like this sound, if this was new to them, meaning this is a brand new band and if they were 20 years younger and had this song and had this sound, I feel like this would fit in so well today. I don't think this would be dated. I think the only thing that new music fans are going to look at is like, oh, these are older guys doing this sound now. And if you don't like that, you suck. But at the same time, that's the reality of the situation. But this is very cool. Very cool. I'm gonna buy the record. I'm gonna buy the album. Sorry, I'm gonna listen to the rest of it. But I like that. I feel like, again, close your eyes. Don't look at the dudes. Just think about everything that's happening in music right now that sounds like music like that. Sounds like it fits in. Let me give you something from them. Not a song that we played before, but why I fell in love with that band from, in my opinion, again, the greatest new metal record made. So you can obviously see the difference in how they've grown. Obviously, there's so much music in between, but nonetheless.
Yeah. I see you shaking, cause your time's up. Wreck that ass with my running anger. Models and money blows, hooks and haymakers. Reanimate, suffocate your breathtaker. Kick down your doors, excusing intrusion. Twist and clean over the execution. Rip that shirt to rock to the over. This is the side of this is what I told you. Get up, stop this, get up, break this, get up, bust this. Get up, stop this, get up, break this, get up, bust this. Get up, stop this, get up, break this, get up, bust this. Get up, stop this, get up, break this, get up, bust this. Get your ass out the way. What? I'm the free, I'm the sky. You release your memory, you do your lies. This is the last straw. I can't control, I explode. Now I got you and you. Don't even
One of my favorite album covers of all time, by the way. I know no one cares about that anymore, but love it.
Try to get up, you get up, you get tough when I'm up in your face, full force. You can't try to get back, you won't let it's your ass when I rip you in half. I know, ignite like a pyro, burn inside, so step into the sideshow. I know, gonna go psycho, might go, step into the sideshow. I know, ignite like a pyro, make a burn with the step into the sideshow. Cause I'm gonna be live, burning sideshow, taking your ride, but you step into the sideshow. Give me up, you get your right, go take eyes, roll step into the sideshow. Run, but it's gonna run from the right, go for the ball, step into the sideshow. I'm into the price right now. I'm into the price right now. Step into the sideshow. Oh, step into the side. Yeah. Oh, step into the sideshow. Go, 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 go. Step into the sideshow. Go, go, go. Yeah. Step into the sideshow.
So another piece of new, and it's not, it's been a month now, but I want to do it because I love it so much. And I think it's such a testament to where music's at right now, but also how important the music that came before us or before the times. I want to do, so Offset version of Bodies by Drowning Pool. And when I saw this, the first time that I heard about this was they actually did it live on Fallon. People can say what they want about Fallon and that show, but I'm going to do that version of it because that's how I discovered it, and it was so cool. Everything about it was cool. Oh, by the way, surprise appearance. What I love about this is that classic Offset, but it's bringing, for once, and I don't know how long, hard rock to a late night show like this. How often do you see a band that sounds like Drowning Pool on late night on one of these talk shows, on one of these late night shows? Doesn't happen. It just does not happen. Nobody brings bands like this on their show, so this is just a huge win for everyone. Gotta say, rest in peace, Dave Williams, by the way. Man, love to see Drowning Pool still doing it, but man, what a talent he was, and what a good singer he was. The audience, yay, that was scary on so many levels and for so many reasons. It'll be okay.
Straight for you.